All right, so this is a session on working with line in Illustrator. These sessions are meant to give students an opportunity to explore the elements of design and at the same time explore the tools and features and effects of Illustrator. We're going to be working with line and we'll be working with the pen tool and the brush tool. The pen tool is located in the toolbar, most likely towards the top. If you're in a two column, it's the third and the first column. It's going to be noted by a quill type pen. I'm just going to go ahead and select it. Now, if you hold on it for a second or two with your left button of your mouse or left press or long press, you'll see that the pen tool isn't the only one in there. You've got add anchor point, delete anchor point, and you can actually change anchor points. So what is this pen tool doing? It actually works with points, which is what vector artwork is based off of, points. So let's consider that being a point-based tool, you actually will be clicking at certain areas to create a line segment. Now notice I said you're clicking, not dragging like you would a paintbrush. You're going to click first. So the first thing we're going to do is learn how to make line segments with the pen tool. And that is the first requirement of this artboard. Let's check that real quick. So for this artboard, we are going to have 5 different lines, that are curved, wavy, straight, vertical, diagonal. Then we're going to do this again with the brush tool. We're going to work with brush styles, stroke color, and weight, the type on path tool, and then we'll do some freehand drawings from Picasso. The tools that will be used are the direct select tool, pen tool, brush tool, anchor point, brush styles, and type on path. All right, now that I've got my pen tool, first rule of working with the pen is to always check your options and make sure that your fill, which is the solid square, is on none, and your stroke is set to whatever color you want to use. I'm going to use my favorite color, and I want to bump up the weight to about a 5 so that I make sure that I can see it and you can see it. Now, the first thing that we're going to make is a straight horizontal line. And so to do so, like I said, we're going to click once to establish a point, point A. We then go the distance. As you can see, you can stretch the line to the length you desire. But I want this to be a perfectly straight horizontal line. I want it to go straight out here. Now I can use the guide to help me that you see popping up, or I can make sure that it's straight by holding shift. And notice that by holding shift, which I'm doing right now, the line only moves in 45-degree increments. So now I can go straight, and while holding shift, I'm gonna come over right about here and click once. Now, when I let go of shift, it still wants to make another line. To stop this from happening, we're going to hold the control key. And when we hold the control key, we're then going to use the left button of our mouse to click anywhere, and that will cancel the line. Let's do that again. Hold shift, point B, control, left click. Point A, hold shift, point B, control, click. All right, that should be enough for practice. Now we're going to do a vertical line. Point A, hold shift, point B, control, click. Point A, shift, Control, click. Takes two hands to design, so having your free hand on the keyboard would be wise. Now we're going to try something a little bit trickier. We're going to try doing oh, actually, let's do diagonal. Point A, shift, point B, control click, two more times. Point A, shift, point B, control click, and last time. And this is all holding shift. So all three of these types of lines were made holding shift. Okay? Horizontal, vertical, diagonal. Sorry about that. Now we will do something a little bit more complex, and that is working with curves. Okay? So let's make a curved line, okay, by first establishing point A. Now it's not until you get to point B, and let's just go ahead and make point B along the same lines. You don't have to hold shift, but just use the guide to line them up. And I would come out to maybe right about here. Now I would like you to click for point B, but this time hold and drag downwards. Okay? Now you can let go, but and break the line if you like, but just watching for a second here, just look at how it reacts to what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm creating a handle. Handles are used to make Bezier curves in Illustrator. The curve that you see that is pointing upwards is controlled by the length of the handle that's on top, and the peak of the curve is controlled by the location of the point of the handle, that dot. So knowing how to manipulate the curve will allow you to create more complex Bezier curves. Now, the reason why I am dragging down is because Illustrator is always thinking ahead. And in this case, the handle that's pointing upwards is controlling the curve upwards. The handle that I'm on or using right now is controlling the next curve, which is going to be in the direction of down. So if I let go, watch what happens. Illustrator puts the next curve facing down. Now later we're going to find out how you can put curves next to each other. But right now, just know that Illustrator will always go the opposite direction for the next curve unless you change that. All right, I'm going to break this though because I just wanted to make a single curve. So control and click, and let's do that two more times. A, B and drag, let go, control, click. Point A, B and drag, let go, control, click. And that is a left click. All right. Now let's try the wavy line. So that's going to be the same way, but let's just do a shorter distance. We're going to point A, point B and drag, point C. All right, so way out here and drag up. Maybe try to get it a nice even curve if you want. Let go. Point D and drag. And let go. So go ahead and make one more. You don't need to make three of these unless you really want to, but go ahead and make one more curve just like that, or wavy line just like that. So it was right about here if you're forgotten. And then we drag. And then we come up right about here and we drag. And then we came out to right about here and we drag. Control, click. If all else fails, remember that control click will allow you to break the line and you can start over by either selecting it with the move tool and hitting delete, or just hitting control Z as many times as you need to go back. All right, so now we've got all of these types of lines here. All right, ways that we can make lines. And there's even more ways that we can make lines, but I think this is a good start. Now let's consider brush styles. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in, and I'm just going to select one of these lines. Doesn't matter which one, I'll just select the first one. And then I'm going to go to my window panel, and I'm going to find the brush panel or window menu, and I'm going to find the brush panel. So this is the brushes panel of Illustrator. You can go ahead and group it with one of your other panels if you like it. We'll be using it for this artboard. So with this, you're going to notice that initially Illustrator gives you a couple different types of brush styles to work with, but there are more in this library button here. So I'm going to click that and look at all these categories. My favorite is definitely artistic, and I'm going to go to the, let's say watercolor type brushes. And I'll just go ahead and group that with brushes for now. Now with this line selected, I can now choose any of these brush styles and check it out. It applies to the line. So this is how maybe you can start with using the pen tool, and then if you wanted to go for another look, you can then change the stroke style to one of these. So go ahead and apply. It says 3 different brush styles to the pen lines. All right, any of the lines, you can make them all different if you like, or you can just stick to the requirements. Bottom line is that this is a page that you want to make presentable, okay? And we will be adding some other notes to kind of help with that. So you might want to clean it up a little bit, and after you've figured out what you want to do, and make it look really nice. So that's one type. I'm going to go back and maybe find another. Let's go to something crazy here. Let's go with decorative. So decorative and scatter. Doesn't have to always be artistic. It can be something that maybe is for publication or print. So maybe I'm going to make a neat little kind of divider of the page out of prisms, and then you can just do something like that. Or I'll select this one, and then maybe there'll be stars on there, and I can use as a nice little banner or border for a page or some part of my flyer or something that I'm doing. Okay. All right. So these are scatter brush styles, if you're wondering. And we'll go to one more category. Um, let's go with borders, and I'll go with geometric, and I'll choose maybe this one. And let's go with this. Ooh, nice burgundy and or maroon and orange. Close enough. So again, something that could be used in a presentation. I mean, the possibilities are endless as to what you can apply these to. But the main thing is that you started with a basic drawing tool, and that is the pen tool. It is the most precise and accurate tool in any graphics program. Okay. Next, we go with stroke colors, and 5 different stroke colors. Just, you could do the rainbow colors. It doesn't, it makes no difference. But you can do a color scheme if you like. I'll do a tertiary color scheme here. So I'm going to go ahead with like a blue. What is that, like this blue? And then the next color is actually going to be like green. I'll go with that green, a little bit darker. And then you go to like this lime kind of looking green here. So we'll go with something like that. Maybe even go with different weights. I'll make this a 10. I'll make that a 20. And I'll make this a 30. Just you can see the different line weights. Further editing of the line would include the settings for stroke. And so you can go to the stroke panel, but you can also get to it from clicking on the word stroke. and there's a quick way to get to it. I like, when I have lines that are really thick like this, I like to put a round cap on them because I just don't like the cut off look there, especially if it's going to be a standalone line. So I'll go in there and go to caps and do round. All right, notice I'm accessing this by clicking the word stroke from the options bar. You can also adjust how it aligns to the path. This is very useful, in lining it outside of the path, inside of the path. You can change it to a dashed line if you wanted to. You can add arrowheads, and you can put endings on there. Yeah, these right here. Okay, from the stroke panel. All right. For the next one, we're doing type on path, and so I have two curved paths here that can be useful. Let me zoom in so you can see this, and I'll close up on my other stuff. All right, so I'm going to go with the type on path. And so the first thing you need is a path. So, you can't just choose this tool and start typing. You have to have some shape, some line, something has to exist first. So I'm going to go to the type tool. And if I left click and hold, I'll see all the different types of tools in there. I want type on path. And so I'm going to then go ahead and just be able to click right on the path that I want to start with. And there you go. You see the text applies. Now the text is going to work just like any normal text. Look at the options bar above. It has a font, it has a style, it has a size. So you can bump the size up. You can left, right, and center align it. I mean, it reacts just like text. So this is an example of type on path. So, notice it just lines up on the path and rides the path, but the path disappears. So, if say you wanted to keep the path there, but, use the path as a guide as well, then you'd have to make two. So I could probably take this one, for instance, and just cleverly arrange it underneath so it looks like it's on that one. But really, it was using another one as a guide, if that makes any sense. So think about that. If you ever need text to look like it's on something, know that when you apply type on path, the guide's going to disappear. So you probably need two to work with. All right, one for the path, one for the design. Okay, so I can still work with it. In fact, with these tools or with it selected, notice with the move tool or select tool, if you find these little lines, these are bookends and they allow you to change where the text starts so you can actually move them along the path. There's one at either end, so notice the square on it here and here. In the middle, this one has a different purpose. It allows you to move, but more importantly, it allows you to flip. So notice if I pull down, the text is now under the path. So that little middle line is the one that does that right here. And you can move it there. All right, so I'm going to center align it so it goes in the middle there. And it's centered because the left end is far over here and the right end is far over here. So this is where it believes the center is. All right, so a little bit about the type on path tool. Let's add some fonts to that. Something good. Yeah, I'm really liking this alpha kind here. All right, and bump the size up a little bit. 24. And escape. Okay. All right, so type on path, and we need two of those. So let's do this one up here. Let's do this one up here. Okay. So again, choosing that. Now, just make sure we always stay up on our layer management here. Notice the path disappeared. Notice it also is behind these other elements here. So when I have it selected, looking in your layers panel, you can easily spot things by looking at the following. There's going to be like a square that tells you what's highlighted or selected. And then from within the layer itself, let's say it's closed, it tells you that it is in this layer. Okay. So not only is it telling you where it is, but it's telling you what's highlighted if you look down in the layer. Now, this square can also be used to transfer that element between layers. So you could actually select this square or this one that represents it and move it between layers. At this time, I don't want to do that, but I do want this to be visible on top of everything, and it has a lot of things in front of it. So I'm just going to select the sublayer and then drag that up. Notice I want the blue line to appear, which means that I'm putting it above or below something. And there it is. Your screen might be different from mine. So, if none of this applies to you, then you're doing well. And the last thing will be to find two Picasso line drawings to recreate from online research. I would like this to be done when you apply the brushes to this. This session won't include the brush. I want you to explore that the same way we explored the pen tool. And you're going to do the same things over on this side in order to complete the entire artboard. Don't forget to arrange and label if necessary. All right. Good luck and have fun.